Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, we are starting the program right now. We request those who have already prayed, please join us. And where are those youth? You just. Yeah, one of the good thing about is since we have a live stream with social media, so we preserve the programs. People get the opportunity. A lot of people requested that we want to see on a live stream also too. So that's another thing if you get lazy. So inshallah, without any short ado, we'll just start in a couple of minutes. We just wait for one or two brothers. They might join us right now.
I think in future the other people do that from their home, and this everybody watch TV.
It's a convenience, actually. So those who are seeing us live right now, we have a channel, IIT Torrents. That's our YouTube channel. There will be a live stream on that. We also have a Facebook channel, which is Islamic Torrents / IIT page. So you will be able to see that program on that page too, inshallah. So and the sisters are up there, so they can just we just say without shortly we're going to be starting program right now. So everybody just join us. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So inshallah, today is a family Saturday night. As usual, we always have a program once in a month. And this program, we invite a special speaker. And tonight, we happen to have one of our well-known brother, which has served with us a long time ago. I want to give a little introduction. His name is Amir Mertaban. He was born USA citizen here. He was, when we started, he's not an immigrant. He's born in the USA. He was born in Inland Empire in Southern California and SoCal. And from childhood, he had a passion for learning about Islam and conveying the message of Islam. So he was a born Da'i also. And when he was growing up, and the university took his graduation from Pomona, Caltech, Pomona, he was very well engaged himself in activities at MSA, and he was a leading personality over there in the campus, and also participated in various activities and programs related to Dawah and community services. And then one time, Why Islam's Southern California approached him actually and found this person a very talented in this area of Dawah and activism. So they asked him to join us actually. So he joined it. And there was a project, we have like a West Islam SoCal, we have a project going out and giving Dawah. So happened to be, he has the ability to set up some sort of outdoor activities or reach out to people. So he has some sort of, he was working actually for the Fairfax Fest, the organization, where they had a big event like a OC County Fair. So they had a Fairfax with the fair over there. And that fair is not 1 day or 2 days, it goes like a 17 days, 18 days. So Amir came with the idea, let's have a booth in the fair, in this county fair, you know what. So this is what this idea. And this brother actually set up the booth over there with his skill of carpenting with a hammer. He built a beautiful Dawah booth with his own hand. All the things are well decorated, well cleaned. Muslims, we were not in the field of Dawah right now. We just his talent. We saw that what amazing thing he just created actually. And that booth went to 17 days. Every Muslim community got excited to see that. everybody is going. A lot of brother and sister participated in doing dawah, and he turned many brother and sister into the idea of we should be conveying the message of Allah. So he converted his thoughts, his talent, turned many da'i actually, and created new artists actually. We got Ali Tampi, one of the best artists right now, was under his supervision. Now he created a beautiful dawah booth in El Time and Taste of Soul is about. Brother Hassan also, one of the other talent was worked with for him actually. So it's a long interview right now, but I don't want to say, but today, if you type Google and type Amir Mertaban, you will see who he is, this guy, and why we have invited him today. Without any short ado, and he's married with 2 beautiful kids. So I like Amir Mertaban, just continuing here, because I like, and he's, like I said, the former Dawah chair of Southern California, Amir Mertaban.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
Well, Hussein likes to mince facts. SubhanAllah, gives a lot more praise than you. Inshallah, credit to do where credit is, and a lot of brothers and sisters were involved in those projects. And I would be remiss if I didn't tell you about my favorite couple in Southern California. This couple I look up to very much, Sister Romana and Brother Hussein. I apologize, I haven't been to this message before, and that's my fault. My deepest regrets and apologies. I live way out in the boonies, and I've been in Riverside for a while. I was in DC for a while. Now I'm in Temple City near Pasadena. So my apologies for not being in this community. But I will tell you, the only reason, wallahi, I have so much love for this community, outside of it being a house of worship for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is because of this brother and his wife. They motivated so many people to give dawah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Southern California, and so many Muslims have become Muslims and have been free from the tyranny of garbage and of disbelief, alhamdulillah, because of their efforts. So, jazakallah khairan for the invitation. All right, we have kind of a fun topic today. It's initiative. This is a fun topic. This is one of my favorite topics. I start off by saying I'm not a scholar, I'm not a sheikh, I'm not a student of knowledge. And by all means, inshallah, if you have any questions, keep it for the people of knowledge, inshallah, especially if there are questions of any Islamic legitimacy. Seek your local sheikh and ask them, inshallah, if you have any questions. Other than that, today I'll be focusing primarily on taking initiative and how it's our responsibility. And we kind of start out with this notion, and it's a very dangerous notion, all right? This notion that if you can't see clear results, you should not get involved. I remember we used to, after the war in Iraq, I remember this, we would go to protests all the time against the war in Iraq. It was like a big deal. After 9/11, Muslims were being hunted, for lack of a better word. They were being harassed regularly. And so the war in Iraq starts ramping up, and a lot of Muslims go out to protest. And I remember a lot of people have this idea that what are the protests going to accomplish? What are you going to get from a protest? You're going to go yell and scream at a brick building? It's not going to respond to you. The president isn't going to care. No one cares. You're just going to, what are you getting out of this protest? And there's this very dangerous logic that if I can't see the result in front of me, I should not get involved, or I should not do the action. This is an extremely dangerous opinion. The idea that if I can't see my efforts and the fruition of my efforts, right? If I can't see exactly me stopping the war in Iraq and saving millions and hundreds of thousands and millions of lives, then I should not take an action. This action should not be taken. And I promise you, brothers and sisters, the protests did absolutely nothing. Okay? In terms of actual benefit to stopping the war, it did nothing. The war happened, hundreds of thousands of people's lives were lost, So many people wasted their time. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not require results from us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala requires effort. This is such a beautiful thing about Islam. Think of your employer. If I went to my employer today, or my former employers, and I had a sales quota, and I didn't meet my sales targets, what happens? They cut me. See you later. Go find a new job. Maybe they'll give me one other chance. I can't go to my employer and say, but I really tried hard. Employer would just giggle at you and say, get out of my face. I need someone who can give me results. If you're constantly late on your deadlines, your employer would laugh at you and say, get out of here. If you're late on your exam at school, your teacher isn't going to say, okay, I'll just give you another opportunity to take the exam. Teacher's going to say, here's a big fat F. See you later, loser. She won't say that, or he won't say that, but that's the idea. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala works differently, and this is the beauty of Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala understands that evil exists, understands that there are challenges in this life, understands that there are things that are working against you, and that your initiative is more important than the results. Which is why the beautiful example, I swear to you, this is one of my favorite verses in the Quran. There are many. But he tells Sitna Maryam, وَهُزِّي إِلَيْكِ بِجِذْعِ النَّخْلَةِ تُسَاقِطْ عَلَيْكِ رُطَبًا جَنِيًّا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells Mary, alayhi salam, who is literally in labor, who just finished labor, to shake the base of a palm tree. In any scenario, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of examples, this would be an absolutely ridiculous request. To say to someone who was just in labor to shake the base of a palm tree so that dates can come down and feed your child, that's absolutely ridiculous. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't expect Sitna Maryam to be able to do that. But it's not about that. It's about the effort. It's about putting in the time and energy to do something, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will meet you the rest of the way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open up doors and give you victory and give you wealth and so many beauty and izzah and honor. But it doesn't just happen because you happen to be Muslim. That doesn't mean anything. It happens because you put in some effort. Even if your effort was lame, even if it was insincere, even if it was full of doubt, nonetheless, it's an effort. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will meet you the other half, or sometimes the entire way, just because of your small effort. This is a very dangerous theory, the idea that I have to see results. And so many brothers and sisters, when we, subhanAllah, they'll hear a nice khutbah from someone or something like that, and they'll come back and say, yeah, Amir, but we're not going to free Palestine. Like, that's silly. Amir, you're right, but we're not going to be able to change the fact that people who are homosexuals can get married in this country. That's a done deal. We're not going to be able to change the fact that teachers now in California are mandated by the state, this just happened a few months ago, to undergo training on how to deal with transgender students, and to be able to deal with transgender students and talk to other students about transgender rights and other students who are transgender. This is what we're dealing with now, brothers and sisters. We're not dealing with simple stuff anymore. Simple stuff is, you don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's easy. I could deal with you. Now we're dealing with a whole set of issues. We're dealing with the Muslim community now who is so far left, who is so liberal, because we have a president that's so far right. So we have a Muslim community now who's okay with a lot of these things that are happening. We have a Muslim community, by the way, this is a survey that was done in 2017, that says Muslims are actually more support of gay marriage than evangelical Christians are. Did you read that? Muslims are in more support of gay marriage in this country than evangelical Christians are. We have a deep issue here, and I'm not going to get too far deep into politics or these issues. I'm talking about initiative today, and I'm talking about your responsibility and my responsibility. We talk about dawah, we talk about our responsibility in this country to teach others about Islam. Likewise, we have a responsibility in this country to teach Muslims about Islam, because we have a kind of a dangerous thing that's happening. We focused a lot on non-Muslims, and we thought we focused our efforts on Muslims and giving Muslims dawah, But subhanAllah, it just seems to me that we've kind of neglected a lot of young people, as evidenced by the masjid today, right? Muslim communities all across the world, right? All across the country suffer from the same thing. There are thousands of Muslims living probably in this area, right? But 20 people are involved in the masjid, and really a core of 5 actually do most of the work. And when it comes down to it, really 2 people are doing it, and then the rest are kind of just getting nudged along to do the work. Because we have this like disease, and this disease is, subhanAllah, I suffer from it too. And it's this idea of wanting a career and wanting to get paid and wanting to live in a house and wanting to have a car and wanting these things. And not only a regular house, I need to live in a really good neighborhood. Not a regular car, it needs to be really brand new and safe because my wife is driving it. And not this, it needs to be this. We have a disease of wanting a lot more than really what we need. And that just basically starts to diminish and take away from our involvement in the community. So let's kind of talk about a few things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. In Surah Al-Waqi'ah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالسَّابِقُونَ السَّابِقُونَ أُولَٰئِكَ الْمُقَرَّبُونَ. It's 2 simple, quick ayahs. When you're reading Surah Al-Waqi'ah, it's like ayah after ayah, and each ayah has a lot of meaning. السَّابِقُونَ السَّابِقُونَ أُولَٰئِكَ الْمُقَرَّبُونَ. The front runners are the foremost front runners. Those who are racing for it are winning. They're at the beginning of the race. They're at the front lines. They're first and second place. أُولَٰئِكَ الْمُقَرَّبُونَ. Those are the people closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't look at this as if, all right, la ilaha illallah, I'm good to go. I have my position in heaven and in Jannah set. I have my plot of land guaranteed simply because I state la ilaha illallah. This couldn't be farther from the truth. It's not about words. It's not about uttering the shahada. It's about believing. And the believing in the shahada is much deeper than just having the idea of, I believe in something. Belief leads to action. This is the whole point of the Prophet's life. Why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send us a book or send each community a book and say, here you guys go. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to do that, he would have just said, good luck. Here's your book. Take it and run. He didn't do that because he knew that's not what would be most beneficial. He sent us someone to teach us how to do this. He sent every community someone to teach us how to do this. And alhamdulillah, we have the best of examples and the best of messengers. The reason he sent the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is not simply to tell everybody, hey, just believe, but to be an example of how we should believe. The belief that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said is a manifestation, right? It kind of seeps into his life and seeps into his community and seeps into battle, seeps into marriage, seeps into everything. That is a Muslim life. It's not just mere belief. And that belief stems action. It requires action. In Surah Al-Mu'minun, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أُولَٰئِكَ يُسَارِعُونَ فِي الْخَيْرَاتِ هُمْ وَهُمْ لَهَا سَابِقُونَ. In the translation, it says, it's these who race for the good deeds, and they are, again, the foremost. You're going to keep on the sabiqun. That this is a race between us. This is not just simple belief. The belief is one core component, but this is a race between you and me. I want to be better than you. I want to get better deeds than you. I want to be in the highest levels of Jannah. This is not a race to see who has best stature in the community, who has the most money. Those are all silly things, as evidenced by the coal tycoon whose helicopter just crashed. This guy was a billionaire. And just like that, his daughter gets sick in the Bahamas, wherever they're at. So he sends a private jet or helicopter or whatever it was to go get them. And on his way there, this is one of the, one of America's final tycoons, coal tycoons. Gets there with the jet, gets up in the air, just like that, he dies. What does this guy take with him? Does he take his coal and his billions of dollars? And does he take his stature as such an amazing person? Who cares? This guy's done. He doesn't leave a legacy. No one cares about this guy. He's done. He just takes his life. That's it. He doesn't take anything with him. He takes his deeds and his belief. And good luck, dude. I don't think he was Muslim. Allah, that's for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to judge. But good luck. It's about our belief and our actions. We're talking about this being a race. So many times, I meet so many successful people in the community. The Muslim community, by the way, as a minority community, is one of the most successful communities in this country. And by success, I mean literally one of the most literate communities in the country and one of the most financially stable communities in the country. Because Muslims strive to do best. SubhanAllah, it just seems like this is, especially the Pakistani community, the Indian community, SubhanAllah, it's filled with, knowledge and that idea of you want better for your kids, and you want them to go to college, and you want them to get good jobs, and so on and so forth. And so that has bred a bunch of Muslims that are doctors and lawyers and engineers and so on and so forth. Here's what bums me out. This is what really boils my blood, actually. Because we have a community that is so successful, but when we come to the masjid, we treat it like it's some backyard organization run by hoodlums, honestly. With all due respect to this masjid, by the way. This is just, excuse me, in general. I'll give you a few examples of what I mean. If you're a doctor, right, there's certain things about you being a doctor that are really good about you being a doctor. And there are certain things about you being a doctor that you just don't know about, okay? Typically, doctors aren't the best businessmen. They're not going to be the best, people to go out there and close massive multi-million-dollar deals. You're not going to send a doctor for that. But you're going to send a doctor to save someone's life. Businessmen don't know anything about saving lives, right? They're going to be their front runners to go create partnerships, leadership in the community, create those avenues, creativity, blah, blah, blah. Engineers, very pragmatic, very methodical. They have a mind that could uncover so many things with ease without having to try. And they could see very pragmatic things and create programs and very organized. But when it comes to the masjid, we don't apply these skills. We don't apply that knowledge, and we don't apply these traits. We just have a board of directors of all of these masajid that are filled with either the highest bidder who can pay the masjid the most and therefore gets a position on the board, or the person who has the most availability. It's just so sad to me that this is the case. Rather than recruit the best talent, rather than recruit the top-notch person that can bring us this, and be very strategic about things, and think methodically about things. We have the talent to do that, but a lot of us are kind of stuck in this, brother, can you lead the youth group? Okay, but I'm 60 years old and I don't have a Snapchat account. Yeah, but we really want you to lead the youth group. You sure? We have kids that are dealing with friends who are gay, and they don't know how to talk to them about Islam. They don't know how to talk to them about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's position on this is. We have kids that have a lot of issues in school. These are youth, but we put someone who has no idea what they're doing, but just because they have availability to do so, that is our best foot forward. This would not fly in any one of our workplaces. This wouldn't fly in my business. It wouldn't fly in yours or in yours or in yours. It would not fly. My company would never hire an idiot to run anything. They would hire top-notch people and get them, pay them the best, or get them to be the most resourceful. Our community needs to think like that. This is our challenge about taking initiative. It's not just about putting your time. Your time is not enough. Actually, and your time might not even be wanted. You might not be the best person for what the community needs. But it starts with leadership that says, you know what? You are great in this. That's why Sayyidina Khalid ibn al-Walid, he's an amazing tactician. He was the best. He was such a master at the art of war. But Sayyidina Khalid wasn't the most pious. He wasn't the most humble. Sayyidina Khalid didn't pray more than anyone else. Sayyidina Khalid wasn't the great da'i. But Sayyidina Khalid never lost a battle. And so the Prophet Muhammad saw this trait in Sayyidina Khalid and put him to work. Sayyidina Umar wasn't easy to deal with, radiallahu anhu. Sayyidina Umar was not the most compassionate person to bring you in the shoulder to cry on. Other Sahabi maybe were more, I don't want to say compassionate, but just maybe had a different emotional skill than Sayyidina Umar did. The Prophet ﷺ used Sayyidina Umar for exactly what he needed to do. Sittna Khadija was an amazing business person. The Prophet ﷺ saw Sittna Khadija as a source of comfort, as a mother to his children, but also saw her as a source of, as a source of business, someone to just kind of keep things running. She hired him. Sallallahu. This was the mastery of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu is that he saw the good in people, he saw their traits and used them for those traits. Not just because I'm the most available or because I'm a doctor or an engineer or a business person or blah, blah, blah. So many times, subhanAllah, we take our scholars or students of knowledge and then we put them in administrative work. Why would we do that? Students of knowledge are terrible administrators. They're actually extremely bad at administrative skills because they shouldn't be put in those positions. They should be put in positions of learning more and setting the curriculum for Muslims, teaching us about the tough things that we're going to get into in our life, pushing the community to be better, to have more knowledge, to seek certain things that we just haven't really grasped fully yet. That's what our community should take on. Each one of us has a role. The board has a role. You as an individual have a role. It's not enough to just be a father. This is the other dangerous thing that our community, battles. And subhanAllah, I'm guilty of this as well. After college, I think a big mistake we made in college, a lot of MSAs, is we never got involved in masajid. And so you have this very awesome activism in college in the MSAs, very safe space, brothers and sisters. So in a very Islamic environment, Allah, prayers daily, halaqat daily, knowledge all the time. It's a very safe space, at least in the college that I was at. But then after college, you go to the workforce and you're dealing with Tom, Dick, and Harry, and Angelina, and this person, and it just hammers your faith constantly, day in and day out. You're not speaking the lingo anymore. You're not saying salam alaikum to anybody anymore. You're not talking to people at an intellectual level. You're talking about how am I going to close this deal and get $30,000 more in the project. Do you see how that starts to diminish your quality as a Muslim? And it did to me. Wallahi, it did to me. It's really tough to get out of that. And that's something that us as a community collectively have to address. How do we bridge this gap with our Muslim professionals? It's silly to say don't get a job. That's insane. We all need to be the best at what we do. We need to be the best in engineering, the best doctors, the best business people, the best in marketing, the best social, whatever. We need to be the best. That is not something that Islam shies away from. But not at the expense of having an ill Muslim community. Not at the expense of your own iman. Not at the expense of having a youth that is declining and that are having real problems answering tough questions on campus or dealing with people on campus. We can't have that be the only alternative. Could you imagine if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is just a random thought, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala judges on our results, could you imagine what that would be like in our generation, in our time? The Khilafah fell. Okay. Goodbye, Ottoman Empire. Palestine, Masjid al-Aqsa is basically run by Israel. Thousands of people dead. Thousands of Muslims and hundreds of thousands and millions of Muslims dead throughout the globe. Islam generally on an overall decline in terms of respect and authority around the world. Saudi Arabia basically not only imprisoning shuyukh and students and scholars, but basically putting them on death row. And this is the best example of Islam, supposedly, is Saudi Arabia, the stewards of the Haram. The FBI here in this country toying around with us as if we're extremists, which is the silliest thing that anybody could say about our community. The fact that they think Muslims get radicalized in these masajid. Are you kidding me? The amount of masajid that I've been to, the exact opposite is happening. More Muslims are taking off their hijab. More Muslims are subhanAllah, this is the fourth phone call I got the other day of another Muslim brother telling me that his brother is gay now. The exact opposite is happening in the masajid. The idea that Muslims are being radicalized and And this is just such a dumb concept. But the FBI is shoving that down our throat and putting brothers and sisters at harm is insane to me. So could you imagine if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took our generation and said, let's see what happened during your generation and judged us on our results, what that would be like? It doesn't do that. The effort is key, brothers and sisters. The effort is key. You do what you can and what you're able to the utmost extent. But to say that I hear this a lot, my jihad is raising good children, teaching them Islam, and having them be the leadership of the community. What kind of baloney is that? Where in Islam do we find this? That's just utter baloney. You think that if you raise your children on Islam without having a father as a good example, you think they're going to take anything from you? Do you think raising children on Iman and Deen and you not being involved in the masjid as a woman, you think you as a mother are going to be a good example for your children? What kind of nonsense is that? It is utter nonsense. It's not enough for you to be Muslim. That is the point of this. To be a Muslim is not enough. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala requires effort. We'll kind of go over a few examples of this or a hadith. قال سورة النمل ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين. And who is better in speech than the one who calls to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and does righteous deeds or does righteousness and says, verily I am one of the Muslims. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaching us through his prophet. He's teaching us that you need to go and do something. You need to give da'wah, you need to get involved here, you need to teach, you need to remove hardship, you need to build masajid, you need to build infrastructure, you need to clean up administrative projects. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaching us to do and to give back. On the opposite side, don't let the dunya just be, means don't let it be not a distraction, but Ya Rabbi, it's on the tip of my tongue. Hold on, the only ayah I didn't put translation for. This is what I get. I'll get back to you, inshallah. I'm sorry, I'll look it up in just a second. I hate that. Anyways, we'll move on, inshallah. Allama Iqbal says something very beautiful. You don't know who Allama Iqbal is, by the way. Allama Iqbal, please make sure to look him up. He's an amazing, amazing person, mashallah. He says, be aware of your own worth. Pay attention, by the way, because he packs a lot in small little nuggets. He says, be aware of your own worth. Use all of your power to achieve it. Create an ocean from a drop of dew. Do not beg for light from the moon. Create the spark from within you. This is such a beautiful thing because, again, and I'd love to say it in Urdu, I just don't know how to say it in Urdu, but Allama Iqbal does these little things where, again, it's packs a lot into very little. Don't look for light from the moon. Let that spark within you, subhanAllah.
Yeah, I know that.
But you know you don't remember. I just want to again recite that quote.
It's very hard to remember.
We have brothers here that know the.
Okay, what's the? You just say again.
Yeah, again, the translation is be aware of our own worth.
Okay, be aware of our own worth.
Use all of your power to achieve it. Create an ocean from a drop of dew, and do not beg for light from the moon. Obtain it from the spark within you.
I mean, ask me here, so.
Brother Hussein really wants to get this done in Urdu.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Look it up on your own.
Inshallah.
And on that same note, Sheikh Abu Hassan Ali Nadwi, rahimahullah, says the need of the hour is that your life should be revolutionized. The revolution should not be an individual one, but a collective one. It should not be an individual one, it should be a collective one. The change should be concerning your belief, your morals, your actions, your dealings, your decisions, and your efforts. Your life in every way should become a beacon of guidance and it should become a means of da'wah.
Beautiful.
A lot of these are nuggets of hope, but they're nuggets of to get us a little zap to do more and to take on more, inshallah, and to take on more to a position where it's a little uncomfortable, where you're having a hard time to manage everything. Because life is short, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could snatch you up at any time. Your death is near, and mine is near too. And at any time that could happen. So why not rack up as much as we can beforehand and be that beacon of hope and light for the community before it's too late? This is the point of this. Just some ending remarks, inshallah. So it's a big undertaking to say get involved, okay? And I never like to give speeches or whatever, sessions where there's not some sort of like action involved in this. Because at the end of the day, we're all gonna leave, you're gonna have dinner, you're gonna go to your kids are gonna nag you for 20 bucks, and the day is done and tomorrow starts a new day. This is my challenge to you. MashaAllah, the message is almost paid in full. I cannot believe that. There are very few masajid that don't have crazy outstanding loans. They're $2-3 million. And very few masajid, that probably masajid that I can count on my hands that haven't taken an interest-bearing loan, which is insane to me on a different point. So the fact that this masjid has been able to do that, wallahi, is something that I'm so proud of for you. Because, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you and to make you an example for every other masajid in our ummah that goes down that path to try to build structures for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with money that is not halal. So jazakumullahu khairan for doing it in a way that makes us proud and honorable, and in a way that gives us izzah, and in a way that makes me happy to be a Muslim. SubhanAllah, this is very exciting. So our effort on a practical level in this masjid, I want each and every single one of you to say, okay, what is my contribution going to be? My contribution today, think about it on your own. My contribution to my ummah today is 1, 2, and 3. Some of you maybe are only at 1, and some of you maybe are at 7, okay? My contribution to the ummah is 1, 2, and 3. All I want you to do this today is how do I make it 4? How can I do one more thing to benefit the ummah, all right? Again, Abu Hassan Ali Nadwi was saying this is not a collective revolution, this is not an individual revolution. That's on your own. That's you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's your business. That's not my talk today. You and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have some work to do. I have some work to do. We all need to read more Quran, we need to pray more, we need to fast more. That's again between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This talk today is about the collective revolution. It's about this collective. And what are you going to do for the ummah at large? How are you going to benefit the Uyghur Muslims in China that are getting trashed on and basically putting camps in prisons? How are we going to benefit them? How are you going to benefit the homeless people down the street? How are you going to benefit that Muslim who has no idea about Islam, or that non-Muslim neighbor who you've never even met? How will you do that? Today is about taking 1, 2, 3 to 4, adding one more thing. That is what Islam is. Just keep on doing one more thing. One more thing. What I would caution you against as a community, and it took me a while to understand this, we put a lot on people. We take the one brother or the one sister who are active, and we put the entire shoulder of the community on them. We put the board position of the masjid, and the da'wah chair, and the youth group, and this and that. And that is an absolute travesty. Brothers and sisters, that should not be done. We should recruit top talent. You should be out there looking at brothers and sisters in the community that you want to be part of your community. Go and convince them how to come here. Go and put the down payment on a house for them and bring them over here to your community. Go and tell them, hey, we're going to do X, Y, Z. Be creative on recruiting talent. This is something that Muslims do a terrible job at. We just want our board to be the board. And we want the community to be the community. And if you come, awesome. If you don't, I could care less. Recruit top talent, even if it's out of the state. You should be seeking that talent to come to the community to help you and to help your children and to help us here in Torrance. The last thing that I will caution, and this is another mistake we've made a lot. Muslims, subhanAllah, alhamdulillah, that we have a global approach and our brotherhood and our sisterhood. This is something that is very unique to Islam. Very unique to Islam. If I was in Malaysia, I don't know when, I went to Malaysia. And I swear to you, every Muslim in Malaysia, it's 99% of the population, wallahi, everybody would say salam. Even if I was a foreigner, salam alaikum, come for dinner, come for this. I'd just be walking on the street and random uncles would be inviting me for dinner. This one uncle invited me to marry his daughter. I'm saying, could you believe that? I'm not saying I'm some hot catch here, but I'm just saying this is amazing. There's a community of Islam throughout the world. In China, we went to visit the masajid in China, and subhanAllah, when we were there, it was like every Muslim you saw paused for a bit, looked at you with appreciation to say, alhamdulillah, you also believe in Allah, I believe in Allah. Hey, this is awesome. Maybe we'll meet in Jannah someday and actually talk in a language that we can both relate to. This is something very beautiful. But what's happened to us is we focus only on global issues sometimes. Sometimes we're only involved in helping hands in what's going on in Pakistan or India or Bangladesh or whatever Gujarat, what's happening there and so on. Sometimes we're only focused on Palestine and Syria and the crisis around the world. Even our activism sometimes is only that. But here in Torrance, we have no idea who city council members are. We don't know what their voting are. We don't know what the Board of Education is deciding here in Torrance that the schools that Muslims children are going to, where we actually have a really big impact, where you can make a very big difference. We rarely know anything. And I'm not saying this to be true. I'm just using Torrance as an example. I apologize. Maybe you guys are much more advanced than the rest of the communities. But communities that have a masjid in them for 40 years, you're telling me for 40 years you couldn't figure out how to get someone on the city council? You couldn't figure out how to get a Muslim elected the mayor? You couldn't figure out how to get people on the water board or on the Board of Education to dictate the curriculum for our Muslim students and what we want and don't want in our community? For 40 years, you're telling me you couldn't figure that out? That's insane to me. So brothers and sisters, this is what I mean. Our effort, let it be humble, let it be small, let it be big, just do something. And I'm making this commitment for myself, I promise you, making this commitment to myself. Let it be a commitment that we can stand for, inshallah. And Jazakallah khairan for allowing me to come to your community and to listen to me. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to correct and forgive me for anything I said that's wrong. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this community a beacon of light and hope for the rest of the ummah. Jazakallah khairan. You announce it.